everyone. Welcome to our webinar on the Resilience platform. I see we have about 15 people, but I think we need the full hour and we're at time. So we'll kick start and I'll not take too long. We'll get into the conversation around the platform, and before that we'll just directly go into some Zoom etiquettes. So please mute yourself. You know the drill by now. Please mute yourself. Do not share your videos unless you're speaking. We're monitoring chat, so please feel free to type your questions there. We have a brief period towards the end for questions. But before that, if there's any questions, please feel free to type them in chat and we'll try and answer them in real time. Try and indicate your organization name if you can. We're recording the meeting. So if you're on the meeting, you're probably giving consent to us for recording it. And Victoria, who's from GRP, Victoria Wachira, is the person to contact in case you need help if there are technical issues. This is the lineup basically for today, and we'll have introductory remarks from Tanveer, who's the partnerships lead at ONA. And then Bilha will take us through the Resilience platform, and Sukana will give us a flavor of dynamic linking that they've been working on with GRP. We'll have a very short brief period for Q&A and then a very quick wrap up. We're trying to squeeze in as much question and answer session as we can. Before we start, I'll just welcome you with a brief introduction of the Resilience Knowledge Coalition, which is where these activities sit. The coalition is essentially a network of networks, and we are now very happy to say we have about 500 members. We're conducting various activities to support and facilitate knowledge into putting knowledge into use. And yeah, you can join us through the mailing list, and my colleague Simona shall put up the link shortly in chat. This particular activity, the Resilience platform, essentially is a way, an agile platform basically for knowledge sharing. So we want to use this to enable the Resilience Knowledge Coalition members and GRP partners to share knowledge that they create. And we recognize that there's plenty of existing initiatives around knowledge management, and therefore we're dynamically linking the Resilience platform through the connectivity, through the placard connectivity hub tools that SEI has developed. And Sukana shall be diving a little more into that. As far as the platform is concerned, I'll just give a brief introduction of what Resilience resources you can upload and what we can curate on the platform. We have solutions, which are basically ideas or innovation which has been proven and is high impact that has emerged from the ground. We have stories, which are essentially experiences, interviews, opinions or perspectives of communities from the grassroots. We have initiatives which could be regional, local, or national or international, online platforms, knowledge management initiatives, or other forms of communities of practice, or anything that basically amplifies resilience, action, and ambition. And then we have evidence and tools, which are which could be basically knowledge products, where we could have a wide range of knowledge products, including measurement tools, approaches, impact assessments, etc. Having said that, we recognize that there's no clear boundaries between each of these, and there could be confusion around what is a solution and whether your write-up could fit in as a story or a solution or an initiative. So please feel free to reach out on the emails that Bilha shall mention later during the call. And with that, I end what I have to say and hand over to Tanveer. Tanveer, over to you. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Suchi, and hope all of you are having a pleasant day. So ONA partnered with the Global Resilience Partnership quite a few years back to build a resilience platform, which is a three-component management information system. The objective was to promote GRP's mission of creating a resilient, sustainable, and prosperous future for the underserved, vulnerable people from all walks of life. And so that, with that in mind, we're pleased to have developed the resilience platform in collaboration with GRP, as we share the common understanding that resilience is about recognizing the reality of disruptive events and strengthening systems and communities to thrive in the face of them. So ONA designed and built the platform by bringing together various systems components from our own existing tools, as well as proprietary products. So we used ONA data, which is tailored to capture solution evidence, stories, and expertise from users in a more structured way. We used our platform called Canopy to provide an analytics dashboard on performance, highlighting the impact to beneficiaries as well. And then we finally used Box, which integrated as a repository to store monitoring and evaluation and learning guidance and publications. So in combination with the three components, we were able to provide the necessary tools to capture, access, and advance the latest knowledge for both GRP partners and the world resilience community. The system allowed for further coalition and storage and management of routine GRP grantee reporting data and related reporting and learning documents. We're pleased to see that there has been a great uptake on the platform and submissions, and we're pleased to be part of this project as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Tanveer. That was very succinct. I think we shall now move on to the real sort of star of the of the evening, which is the resilience platform, and of course Bilha, who will be giving us a walkthrough of the platform and telling us how exactly to use the platform. Bilha, over to you.
Thank you, Shruti and Tanveer. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar again. So I will switch over to sharing my screen so that we can go over the platform. So let me share my screen. Give me one moment. There we go. Let me know if you can see my screen. Right? Cool.
Yeah,
so I think you should see. Okay, perfect. For giving us an introduction and to also explain what the different resilience resources are. So what I will do in this presentation is I will take you through the resilience platform and show you how you can interact with the different resilience resources, some that have already been added into the platform and others, and also show you how you can add others yourself. So to begin with, I will show you the public view. So what we're looking at right now, and maybe Simone or Shruti, you can help me by sharing a link of that on the chat so that everyone can also have access. So what we're looking at right now is a public view of the resilience platform. Notice that I am not yet logged in. So anyone who has a link is able to access the resilience platform. And all the resilience resources you can see here have been added by different users, have gone through a review process and have been approved. So all of the ones that you're looking at right now are approved resilience resources. So we have solutions, stories, initiatives, evidence, and tools. So for you to be able to look at specific resilience resources, you can either click on the menu on the top at the top here, or you can click at explore resilience resources. Alternatively, if you want to go to a very specific, so if you want to see, say, solutions, you can just click explore solutions, and that will also take you to specifically the solutions tab. To see all the resources that are available. The first tab gives me a list of everything. So I'm just going to give you an overview of what you're going to be looking at, and the same will be replicated across the specific resilience resources. So the first thing you see here is a filter. So we're able to filter by themes, by approaches, and by region of operation. So when you select the region of operation, for example, if I select Africa, the countries in Africa appear for me to be able to select specific countries. And then you can also filter by implementing partners. So once you have selected your filter, for example, if I choose to have climate change, say, and select a particular maybe approach, what I can do is I'll click on apply, so that that will the filter will affect the map and also the list of resources that are down here. So that's the common layout across these tabs that you see here, where you have the filter and then you have the map and then you have a list of all the of either, in this case, we have a list of all the resources, but then when you select specific tabs, it'll be either a list of solutions or of stories and so on. If you want to remove the filter, what you do is you click reset filter, and that will remove the filter and take it back to you being able to view all the resources. Then we have the map here, which is interactive in that when you hover on a particular map, you're able to see the resources that have been added to that particular map, to that particular country, So if I hover on India, you can see we have 23 in total, resilience resources, 13 solutions, 6 stories, and so on. So if I want to filter by, to only look at the resilience resources in India, what I can do is I'll click on India, and then only the resilience resources in India are going to be listed down here, okay? So, and if you want to reset the filter that I have just clicked on the map, what I'll do is I'll click reset filter, and that will restore, it'll restore everything as it was at the beginning. Let me click on that again. Yeah. So that will restore everything as it was in the very beginning. So let me move to solutions and show you just quickly the same scenario. So we now here we're viewing a particular resilience resource. So we're looking at solutions. So you can filter solutions by theme, by approaches, by region, and by partner. Again, just focusing on India, if I choose to click to see the resources, the solutions in India, I'll just click on India, and this should give me a list of all the solutions that are in India. I can also change the number of solutions that I see on a page. So for instance, if I want to see all of them in one page, since there are 13 solutions, all of them should be listed, and I will be able to view, I'll only have one page. Something else you can also do while on this page is you can search through solutions. So maybe type in a keyword, maybe if you have an idea of the title of the solution that you're looking for, just enter it in the search solution text field and click on search. And then the other thing you can also do from here is you can sort by the latest, the earliest, and also alphabetically. So still on this page, you can hide the filter by clicking on this, I think it's sort of like a hamburger icon. So you can click on that and it's going to hide or show the filter if it was hidden. And you can also hide the map if you don't want to see it while you're viewing the, you can hide and show the map. You can also share all these details like the map via Facebook, Twitter, and all these other options, or copy to a clipboard so that you can share with to a different social media platform that's not available here. So this is a view of a resilience resources when you're not logged in. We also do have documentation that you can look at for public users. So anyone that is yet to have an account. When you click on FAQ/guidance, it opens up this folder. So clicking on it once displays the documentation that is available. And if you want to view it, this one is the latest version, so version 5. So clicking on it will display the documentation for you to go in and see how other ways that you can interact with the resilience platform. Yeah, so I won't let it load. I'll just move on to the next part. So like we've said, there is a public view because there is a public view and therefore there is also a private view. So for you to be able to see the private view of the resilience platform, you do need to have an account. And what you would do is for you to create an account, you would click on sign up. And then what you do is you fill in all these details. So you fill in your username. So please choose a username that you're comfortable with, because you will not be able to edit it later. Also, when it comes to the email, please use one that you're comfortable to use, because you will not be able to edit that later. And then you can put in your first name, your last name, and the organization that you work with. These 3 fields are editable. So these, basically these are the only ones that you can edit. So once you have added in all these fields, what I will do, let me switch over to a slide. So I'm not going to create the account right now. I'm just going to show you on a slide how it would basically look once you submit. So this is a filled out form. I filled it in. I have created an account. I have gotten a notification that my account has been created and that an email has been sent. So the email is going to be sent to the email address that you have provided. In case you do not find an email sent to you, please check your spam folder as well, just to make sure that you've checked everywhere within your inbox or within the spam folder to find that email. So because they definitely will be sent to the email that you have created. So the email would look something like this. So I'm just gonna move over to the next slide. So this is the account that I have created, and I have the username that I selected, and the password and the role. So whenever you sign up for an account, you are immediately assigned a partner role, and that is what we're going to focus on today. So today we're going to focus on what the partner is able to do and the private view that a partner has when they log into the Resilience platform. So what I'll do now, I'll go back to the Resilience platform, and I'll go back to the login screen. So once you have created your account, you have a password that has been generated by the system. You may want to change that password so that you can have a different one that is easy for you to remember. So what you could do is before you log in, or even later on as you're using your account, you click on Forgot Your Password, and then enter the email address that you use to create your account. So that's the email address. Then I'll click on Reset Password. What that will do is it will send an email to the account that I have. So that shouldn't take too long. I'm just gonna refresh. Give me a moment. There we go. So I have received a password link. What I'll do, I'll click on this link, and it's going to request me to provide a password, a new password. So I'll just type it in. So this one will be a lot easier for me to remember, and submit. Yep, so my password has not been reset, and I can go back to public view in order to now be able to log in. So I'll click on the login button. So click on the login button. Enter my username and then the new password that I have created. So now this is what you view as a completely new user. So notice that you don't, at this point, you will not have any solutions. Basically, you will not have any resilience resources because you've not added in any, but you can view other resilience resources, the ones that are approved. And for you to be able to do that, you just click on resilience resources, and you will be able to view the same resources that we were able to view earlier while viewing them publicly. So while we are here, what I will show you is how you can interact with a solution, how you can view the details of a solution. And you will notice that that will be different from when you're viewing a solution that you have added and one that has been added by somebody else. So let's go to, I'll click on solutions and then just select the first one that I see here. For you to be able to view the details of a solution, you can either do that by clicking on the title of the solution or clicking on this option down here. So I'll go with this for now. So here it loads up all the information that has been added when the solution was being created. And shortly we will be able to see how to create a solution and all the information that you're able to add in. But this is the information that is added, the title of the solution, when it was added, And then I think these are the partners, and you can also share this solution, and notice that this particular solution is approved. And then we see that we have a solution description. We have different images that have been added. So there could be one or multiple images that are added to that particular solution. And basically all the information that has been added for this solution, you can view from here. So I am not able to edit this solution because I did not add it. The only reason I am able to view it is because it's been approved and it's publicly available. All right. So if I do want to move forward to now be able to add my own solutions or my own resilience resources, I could have done that actually from the homepage. So let me go back there and just show you. So I could have done that from here, where I am able to click on either of these links to either upload a solution, upload a story, and so on. Alternatively, you could also access the same pages from my uploads. If you click on solutions, it's going to take you to the same page that it would have taken you if you clicked on upload solutions, and then you will have access to the button that allows you to create a solution. So when in adding resilience resources, I will show you two examples. We'll do one for a solution and one for stories. And the reason we're doing stories is because, and you will see this when we get into creating a story, is because it's a bit more flexible in that there are parts of it where you can create your own story. Yeah, the solution has predefined fields that you have to fill in. The story does have predefined fields, but then there's a section where you are the one who determines what to call the title, what paragraphs to add, and so on. So we will be able to see this practically shortly. So let me begin. In this case, I'll just begin by clicking upload solution. So I'll click from there. And then I have an option to add a new solution from here. So I'll click on add new solution. Then I will say load. So this particular, let me explain what this means, because we're using a form that you will see. There's a form that you fill in order to add your solution or your resilience resource. If you have added in information before and you left it unsaved, whenever the form loads, it's going to ask you if you want to discard that particular record that you added in before, or if you want to load it. If you discard it, it means that it gets lost, and therefore you would need to add that information again. But if you say to load, then whatever information you had filled in should load into your form. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I am going to show you all the fields that we have for the solution template, and then I will show you one that I have added and saved in draft, just to basically show you how that would look like. The first part of the solution template we have is giving you instructions on how the information that you give is going to be used. So it's important for you to interact with this section before you provide the information, and to also go through the privacy policy of GRP, and because that will also let you know how the information that you add in will be handled. But for the most part, whenever you do give consent to move forward with the solution, you're basically saying that you are okay with GRP disclosing all the information that you will provide. As you've seen, the resilience resources are publicly available, and therefore you need to be comfortable with the contact information and the images that you will provide being publicly available. So for you to be able to move forward, you do have to select yes, because if you select no, then you will not be able to move forward with adding your solution in this case, or any resilience resource for that matter. So what I will do, I will select yes. And in order for me, so I will select yes and show you all the different fields that we have. So we have a number of fields that are required, and you will find that this will be the theme across all the different forms for filling in resilience resources. So there are some fields that will be required or will be mandatory, and you can tell that they're mandatory because of the asterisk, the red asterisk. But then majority of the fields will actually not be required. When it comes to a solution, you do need to provide the title and the summary and all these other fields. So what I will do, I will retrieve a file that I had saved, and I will explain how I did that. So for now, let me just retrieve it, and then I will explain that in a little bit. So I will explain that in just a little bit. So what I've done, I have retrieved a solution I had saved as a draft earlier so that I can go through it and show you the different fields that can be added. So here I provided the title and a summary, and then I had additional information that I wanted to provide. So introduction and highlights of the solution. I selected the region of operation and selected 3 countries. So that's Bangladesh, India, and Nepal. And then for a list because it's multiple select. And then just scrolling through to show you all the other fields that are available. One key part is the media files where you can upload a featured image. So the featured image will be added to the solution in this case and will be shown out publicly. And if there are any additional images that you will add, they will be shown when somebody is viewing the details of the solution. So this is where you would upload the featured image. And the field for uploading an image looks the same. So this is one where you would upload any other image that you have. So it could be an image, it could be a document that you want to upload, it could be a video or a podcast. So if you have more than one image that you want to upload, what you do is you click on the plus sign, and this will give you multiple rows for you to be able to upload the image or to upload the document. Yeah. Then lastly, at the bottom, you can provide a reference where you've gotten this information from. Yeah, then at the bottom here, we have 2 options to either save as a draft or to submit. So I'm going to show you how we save as a draft. So let me click save as draft. Then when you do save as a draft, save and close, what that does, it adds that is a record at the top here. So we call this, you can either call it a queue panel or a records queue panel. For most of you, it will be 0 because you've not saved anything as a draft. But if you do add anything as a draft, then it changes the count. You can access that panel by either clicking the handle, okay, or by clicking the count. Either way, it will bring you to this page. And then from this page, you are able to, maybe you've saved it as a draft and then later on you found that there's information that you wanted to add. So you would click on the pencil here, yeah, in order to now retrieve the record saved in draft for you to be able to make changes to it and then now submit. So I'll click on the pencil, then it loads the data and gives me that notification. So notice that now we have it here, and then I'll just, I won't edit anything at this point. So I'll just scroll down all the way to the bottom and click submit. Oh, sorry, I think there is a required image. I haven't, oh yeah, approach. I will select not applicable, anything else, themes. I think I should be good now. Yeah. So you do need to make sure that you select all the required fields. Otherwise, it will do as it has done, where it will revert you to the question that you have left not responded to. Cool. Let me see. Yeah. So my record has been submitted and I have received the successful message. So I can go back to solutions and it should be added under pending solutions. There we go. So any solution or any resilience resource that you add is by default tagged pending. All right. And then it needs to go through a review process where somebody from JRP will review the solution or the resilience resource that you have added. And if it is tagged as approved, it will be publicly available. If it's tagged rejected, then you can access it later and be able to see and be able to get a message to know why it has been rejected. And somebody from JRP will work with you on email so that you can work on, so that you can make changes to the resilience resource for it to be publishable. Yeah. So that's it on adding a solution. So I'm going to click on it again just to show you how it would appear differently. Now, because this is a solution I have added, I am able to edit it. Yeah. So if I click on edit, it opens up the same form as it did before. Yeah. Filling out the same information that I had filled in, and I can add I can make changes to it. Yeah. So I can go in if I want to add in another part, I want to add evidence, or if I want to add an implementing partner, for example, I decide to choose ARA as my partner. I can do that and then scroll all the way to the bottom and submit. All right. So the next thing I will do now is show you how to add a story. So to add a story, I will come here. Yeah. Now I'm showing you how to access the different resilience resources from different places. So now this is, I've accessed the stories part, and then I'll click on add new story. So there is one I had already saved in draft. So let me just say load, just to be on the safe side. Then I'll click on it to open the panel and reload. So it's reloaded the information. So notice that this part is the same across the board, where you need to provide your privacy, you need to read the privacy policy and provide consent and give consent to move forward. So for the story, there are fields that are required, and all of them are marked with an asterisk. So the part I really want to show you, which is different from the from actually all the other resilience resources, is where we give a story. So here, you have a part where you can give a title for your story or for that paragraph. So at the top there, you've already provided a title for your story, but then here you're adding paragraphs to your story. Yeah. So notice that it has a character limit of 2000 characters. So you might decide to add each paragraph to a different, like to separate the paragraphs completely. So the paragraphs could have titles, so those would end up being subtitles within your story, or they could just be straightforward, just paragraphs without any titles, the ones that would end up being subtitles within the story. So copy paste or type in the information. When you're copying and pasting, please be careful and make sure that you check the end or what you have pasted to make sure that all of it is there, because it just truncate when it gets to the 2000 characters, it just truncates it, and you wouldn't be able to know that that particular item has been truncated. Yeah, so I've added three sections already. So let me go back here. What I want to show you is if you want to add an additional section, yeah, or an additional paragraph, what you do is you click on plus. So it's very similar to when you are adding, when you need to add additional images, yeah? So you can add in a title, you can add in a paragraph. So you may have multiple paragraphs, mainly because the paragraphs are very long and therefore you separate them so that because of the character limit, or it could be that's how you want your information to be arranged. So when you're adding in the paragraphs, you can use what we call Markdown for styling. So I will show you three main ways of styling, where being able to add a link, italicizing text, and making text bold. But I would encourage you to look at this documentation, which is here, that will guide you on how to use Markdown. So if you do want to add, I'm trying to see the, should be somewhere here. I think it's this first paragraph. Yeah, there we go. So if I want to make IDE a link, yeah, what I do is the text that I want to make clickable, I add square brackets, and then the URL that the user will be redirected to, I add that into brackets, like normal brackets. So you're using square brackets for the text that will be clicked. And then the redirection link is added to just normal, let me call them normal brackets, yeah? So when I save this, it should show IDE as clickable text, redirecting to this particular URL or website. Then if you want to add to bolden text, what you do is you use 2 asterisks at the beginning of the text to be made bold and at the end of the text to be made bold. Then if you want to italicize text, what you do is you use an underscore. So 1 underscore at the beginning of the text or a word that you want to italicize. And then at the end of it as well, you do use an underscore. So like we've done before, again, you can save this as a draft if you want to, but in this case, I'm just going to save it because we've already gone through that part. So I will click submit so that it can submit. Yeah, keep leaving these ones undone. So I need to select a community or organization name. I'll just call it test for now. Type of organization, maybe I can call it academic knowledge. And then implementing partners, for this case, I'm going to say not applicable. For the theme, I'll say not applicable just for now. Yeah, so I think I've selected all the required fields. Should be good. And then submit. Right. So always wait to make sure that you get that notification. Don't leave here until you get a notification that your solution or your resilience resource has been submitted. So make sure you get the successful message submission before you move on to something else. Okay. So so this one will be added to pending stories, and you can edit it later or wait for it to be reviewed. And then if it's rejected, you can make changes to it. So I'm almost done. So the last two things I will show you is documentation. So even as a logged in user, you do have documents that are available by clicking on documents. So you have this partner documentation and also FAQs that you can access by clicking on documents and opening the file. So just click on the file and then it will be opened. Then lastly, if you want to edit your information, what you do is you would click on your profile, click view profile, and you will be able to edit your information. So as I mentioned before, you can only edit your username and email. You will not be able, it's actually the other way around. You will only be able to edit your first name, last name, and the organization that you come from, but you will not be able to edit your username and the email. I think that's it in terms of my presentation. I will pause for there and wait for questions at the very end. Thank you, Shruti. That's it.
Thanks, Bilal. Very briefly, I'll share screens again, just to show you our email IDs in case you want to reach out to us. For any content related questions, any questions related to the platform, please reach out to mel@globalresiliencepartnership.org. Once you log in and once you sign up, and if you have technical issues regarding the platform, please reach out to support@ona.io. So that's very briefly where you can get in touch with us. This is not a one-off conversation from us to you. We'd like to hear more from you and curate more content on the platform. So please do reach out to us. With that, I think it's time to hand over to Sukaina, who's on video, and I shall stop sharing here. And Sukaina, you can share screens. Over to you.
Great, thank you, Suchi. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. That was a really, I think, super clear explanation from Bilha about how to share content on the Resilience platform. And so what I want to do now is just share with you a way that we can maximize the visibility of those resilience solutions, stories, initiatives, evidence, and tools that are shared on the Resilience platform, and give them more visibility by connecting them to other knowledge, similar knowledge on other platforms online. So I'll be explaining a tool to you that is describing a tool to you that is called the Placard Connectivity Hub. And the reason this came about is because I'm sure we're all aware that there's an overwhelming amount of information out there online now. It can be quite difficult to sort through that information, find out what's relevant and applicable to you and your work. And often a lot of these platforms are operating in silos, or these different disciplinary areas are operating in silos, and there's not a lot of integration or coordination between them. So a couple of years ago, we started the development of this tool. It's not another platform. It's not trying to replicate the role of these platforms, but it's another tool to try and connect this knowledge better together. And you will find this tool at the link here. And we're really happy to say that we've just linked up with GRP to share the most recent partnership is with GRP to share the resilience solutions from the platform more widely. So the way that this happens is we are visualizing the knowledge landscape of all of these solutions, stories, and so on in a tool that integrates content from these other platforms. So the ones that you can see listed here, and I'll show some examples of those in a second, for many different types of users. So initially this this tool was brought together to integrate information across the climate change adaptation and disaster risk reduction landscape, because those two communities traditionally have worked a little bit in siloed ways, and basically to provide better integration to this information. And the way that we're doing that is visualizing the landscape of the whole landscape of the knowledge that exists on these areas. So one of the ways we do this is to visualize content from the platform. So that could be articles, reports, solutions, stories in the resilience platform's case, these blue nodes that you can see here, while also visualizing the organizations that contribute that content. So as Bill had just said, when you register, you share your contact details, giving visibility to both the content and the organizations contributing this content is really valuable. And the way that so the green nodes here are organizations. And the way we do that is through these orange nodes. So the orange nodes that you can see here are actually keywords, and keywords are the common things across most platforms. So we'll go into that a bit more, but keywords are the things that most platforms are using. So We Adapt, you can see here, Climate Adapt, Prevention Web, they're all using some form of keywords. And the resilience platform also, as Bill had mentioned, uses themes and categories as its filtering, themes and approaches as its filtering criteria. And so these themes and approaches are similar to keywords, and we can use them in the same way to filter content on the Connectivity Hub. So when we're talking about visualizing knowledge across the landscape, what this means is you can take a keyword like flooding here, and I'm not sure how visible this is, but hopefully you can see that we have content here on flooding from the We Adapt platform, from the Prevention Web platform, and from the Climate Adapt platform. And what we're trying to do here is not replicate the information on these platforms, but allow users to easily discover this knowledge and then use this data to go to the original source platforms. So if you click on the We Adapt node, for example, or the Prevention Web node in this case, you see a summary of that article or the content that's being pulled from that platform. And you have an option to find out more about that content by going directly to the platform. So in this case, you would go directly to the Prevention Web platform. Similarly, if you click on a Climate Adapt piece of content, you would be taken to that platform. And there are many benefits in providing access to platform data in this way, which I'll explain in a second. But the same applies for the resilience platform. So if we do a search on disaster risk reduction, we can see here that we have content from many different platforms, including the resilience platform. So basically, this is showing how the solutions and stories and initiatives and so on that are uploaded to the resilience platform can be integrated and linked to knowledge from other platforms on the same topic of disaster risk reduction. And here you can also see organizations that are working on this topic. Now, if we want to limit that information, that you could argue that that's also a very overwhelming source of information and it's not that clear. So you can limit this information to just the information from the resilience platform. And you can see here then that we have a range of the solutions, the evidence and tools and the initiatives showing up. So if we were to click on one of those, the same thing would happen. We have a solution here on transboundary flood risk mitigation. And if you were to click on the read more at the bottom, and just as a side note, these keywords here are the same keywords that you would see linked to that solution if you were to click on it, which I'll show you in a second. You would then be taken to the solution on the resilience platform itself. So you would see the summary here, but if you thought that summary makes sense to you and it's relevant to your work and you want to find out more, you would go to the resilience platform to find out more about that solution. In the same way, if we were to do a search on locally led adaptation, the way that you would find out more about a particular solution and what content and keywords and organizations are related to that solution is to click on the crosshair here. And if you were to click on that, you would dive into that solution and all the content related to that solution. So these orange nodes, as I mentioned before, are the keywords. So in the case of the resilience platform, the themes and approaches that the resilience platform uses to describe its solutions and its content. And you would also see that Groundswell International is the organization contributing content, contributing this solution to the resilience platform. So similarly, again, if you were to click on that solution, you would get the summary. And here you can see the keywords are the same keywords that I mentioned here. So actually, if you were to click on innovation and scaling, for example, here, you would be taken to another view of this network, which shows everything related to innovation scaling, not just from the resilience platform, but from other platforms too. So again, trying to increase this sort of collaboration and coordination, this integration of knowledge, and to break down these silos. And of course, if you click on read more, you would go to the solution on the resilience platform. An additional benefit of trying to connect these diverse sources of knowledge is that the keywords also provide the opportunity for us to give users a shared understanding of how different terminology is used by different communities. So some of these keywords are common to different disciplines, different areas of work, but they might be used slightly differently. So if we were to click, for example, if we were to click on here, then the keyword nature-based solutions, what we're also providing through the Connectivity Hub is a glossary. So this glossary provides a definition of nature-based solutions, but it also provides an alternative label for that term. So here we're just suggesting that nature-based approaches is another term that might be used by platforms to describe nature-based solutions. One of the things that we're doing as part of this work is to better harmonize the different terms that are being used. So for example, in the resilience platform at the moment, nature-based solutions /NRM is the term that is used to describe the category. But if we merge nature-based solutions and that category described in the resilience platform, it would harmonize many more of the solutions together and bring them together under this one keyword search. So again, that's the power of bringing content together from different platforms that might be described slightly differently, but we can create those synergies and the harmony between them. Another advantage is that by doing that, you can also have the system be smarter and suggest to the user that they might also look at these other terms, because ecosystem-based adaptation and ecosystem services are related terms, and there may be knowledge linked to those terms that is also of relevance to the search that the user is doing. And if you were to click on ecosystem-based adaptation in this case, for example, you would then be taken to another visualization of the knowledge landscape for that term to see if there's anything of relevance to you there. Additionally, we've been providing scope notes for these terms to explain and raise awareness about how these terms are used differently by different communities. So this is hopefully adding value to the user who's sharing content in this way. And again, the glossary operates in such a way that any node that you click on here, if it's part of the glossary, it's underlined. And if you click on it, you are provided with a definition like you can see here. And obviously we can also provide sources for these definitions and so on. So it can be quite a detailed resource. So just to wrap up, the Connectivity Hub can be accessed from this link, as I mentioned. Hopefully you can start exploring it already. There is also a movie tutorial available on the homepage. So if you click on this How to Get Started tab at the top, which you should be able to see clearly at the top of the page, you will find a whole section that has guidance on how to use the hub, what platforms are part of the hub, who it's for and what it's trying to support you to do. And there's a little tutorial in there. And there's also a 3-minute movie that gives you a very quick intro into the best way to use the platform. Lastly, the other thing I wanted to mention that I haven't shown you in the slides, but we also are providing all of the connectivity hub in multiple languages. It is using the Google Translate plugin. So for some languages, I don't think that's great, but it's rapidly improving from what I understand, but it is available in 100 languages at the moment. So the network graph visualizations that you see themselves, the titles of the content are not translated, but once you click on each node, if you want to have a play with it, you will find that each summary of each piece of content is translated into the language that you select. So just to summarize very quickly, again, the Connectivity Hub is not another platform. It is meant to be a tool to enhance the visibility of existing platforms and to make the connections between platforms and between the knowledge shared on these platforms integrated and connected and synergized. This can potentially reveal unexpected connections between the knowledge on the different platforms. We are trying to support the idea of linking different types of knowledge, different scales of knowledge. And this is really, again, not only to address the sort of silo issue that I mentioned earlier and the information upload, but also to support this shared understanding of how knowledge is used differently by different communities, perhaps to the same end. And so then to sort of reduce miscommunication or implementation of planning or sort of alignment of goals and so on. I think it's clear how the learning and capacity development is supported in that way. But also there's a strong element of trying to cross-fertilize knowledge. I think that's clear as I've described. And the cross-fertilization of knowledge is really supported by this referral and redirection of the user to the original platforms. And because some of the platforms are coming from very different disciplines, very different sort of origins of work, this can really support a cross-fertilization of different audiences coming to the new platforms. So hopefully, people visiting the resilient solutions and stories will be coming from many different backgrounds who perhaps would not have come across that information if they hadn't been if they hadn't come through the hub to do a particular search, because it may be a platform that's not in their day-to-day search for knowledge, or it may be a platform that they're not regularly going to. So, we have had in our original work linking the DRR and the adaptation platforms, this cross-fertilization of knowledge between Prevention Web and We Adapt, we think has been quite valuable. And so hopefully it will be the same for many other platforms joining the hub. So I think I'll leave it there for now. And I know we wanted to have time for questions, so hopefully there's still time for that. And I'll hand back to Suchi.
Thanks, Sukaina. That was a great presentation, and I think it has spurred quite a few questions. There's a common set of questions from 2 or 3 people who are asking what it would take to connect various platforms. So there are a few examples. There's a platform called Panorama. There's FMNR Hub. That's a tongue twister. But yeah, there are a few of these, and they want to know what it takes to connect multiple platforms using the Placard Connectivity Hub tool.
Okay, great. Yeah, so that it's probably requires a longer conversation. Part of it depends on the type of content the original platform is sharing, and whether there are already ways for the platform, the source platform, to share its content, or whether we need to create that link to share the content. So some of the platforms we are hosting at the moment have dynamic links. So we're either doing that through APIs or through RSS feeds. And there are a couple of platforms where the link is static. So we are taking a sort of snapshot of the data from those platforms and uploading that manually and linking it to the keywords and making that integration manually. So there's absolutely ways to link additional platforms. I think we would just need to have a conversation about what the data looks like. So please get in touch with me if you would like to have a chat about that.
Thanks. There are a lot of ideas in chat around linking, and right. So Ken, if you could stop sharing screens, we could possibly see if people have raised hands. There's also a comment from Corina, which basically says it's exciting to see these kind of integrations, and it makes her think of the potential to make all this more visual, and also how to connect with other tools that map academic literature, like co-citation analysis, disciplinary heat maps, etc. So lots of potential there and lots of thought there from Corina. Worthwhile to get in touch, I guess. Peter has put in some platforms and some links, so useful maybe to go through those at a later point. But yeah, in case anyone has questions, please feel free to raise hands, and yeah, Bilha and Sukena will be willing to answer those questions. Bilha, if you could come on to video, if you could switch on your video, please. Awesome, thank you. I don't see any raised hands, which means you've done a great job. And okay, Bright, you have a question.
Yes, thank you so much, Suchi. Just about if I pronounced the name right. I didn't get very well on the part of how to bold the text. Yeah, there's like changing caps and something like that. Maybe if we could get a follow-up email or a document, I think it would be great.
Is this for the Resilience platform?
Yes, when you're creating the solution.
Right. So what we'll do is we'll also upload this video, and we'll be creating shorter walkthrough videos out of this. So we'll be cutting this video into shorter videos out of this, so you can access this content at hand. But Bilha, do you want to get into details? I can see we have 3 minutes, but if you want to just quickly answer that.
I was just going to say, maybe I could also post the Markdown URL on the chat so that Bright can have a quick look at that. So let me just do that.
Great, thank you. Right, I think we're at time, and I don't see any more questions, so I will possibly end here. But it's been great to firstly thank you, Bilha and Sukena, for giving these presentations and taking us through both these tools. It's really exciting to see all of this coming together, because we've been working behind the scenes for a while now. So thank you very much, both of you, and thank you everyone for participating. We've seen great turnout, so thank you, and thank you for being patient and not signing out very quickly. We still have 31 people, which is great. So thank you. All right, and good evening from India, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. And all right, bye-bye.